Welcome to the third and final opening credit scene explained for House of the Dragon. In our first video, we created a family tree that represented each emblem seen on the intro with the characters that they represent. We even added the blood that flows from emblem to emblem. We also covered the emblems of the second opening credit scene, which was first shown in episode 6 after the time skip. Since that second intro went on throughout episode 7 and 8, we need to update our second intro's family tree. First, we need to include Harwin Strong, whose bloodline we see joined up to Rhaenyra's bloodline. His emblem is a gold cloak, armor, and cape, representing his role as the captain of the City Watch. And in episode 7, we see Harwin Strong's emblem drowned in blood, following his death at the end of episode 6. We have already covered Laena Velaryon's emblem. However, we have missed that in episode 7, her emblem also drowns in blood, similarly to Harwin, following her death at the end of episode 6. We also need to update Jaehaerys' Velaryon's emblem, which we can now recognize to be Dragonstone. We recognize it through its curved tower, as well as the bottom layer of the emblem representing the stony terrain that Dragonstone is built on. And in the middle of the emblem is engraved the seahorse of House Velaryon, which Jaehaerys is supposed to be from. Last but not least, we also have to add the 4 bloodlines splitting from Alicent Hightower far off in the background, as well as Otto Hightower and his dead unknown spouse. We now have a fully completed family tree for the second intro, which covered episodes 6 through 8 after the time skip. We can finally begin covering the third and final opening credit scene, which covered episode 9 and 10, the final 2 episodes of the season. It begins by following Jaehaerys' second bloodline that up until now had been hidden in the background. From there, the blood flows quickly towards a faraway lower level, representing a younger generation. And for the first time, we get a closer look at Alicent Hightower's emblem, as well as those of her children. Each of the 4 bloodlines representing one of her children, and the bloodlines length representing their birth order. The longest one being Aegon, the first son, the second his sister wife Helaena, the third Aemon, the second son, and fourth, we finally see Daemon Targaryen, confirming that Alicent's 4th child was not actually cut off from the TV show as many of the fans feared, but is actually here being confirmed in the opening credit scene. I had always known that Alicent Hightower's emblem was the sigil of House Hightower. However, we can now notice the 7-pointed star of the Fate of the Seven, which acts as the center of the beacon from the tower in Old Town that House Hightower lights in green when they're calling the banners. Can now finally reveal the emblems of Alicent's 3 main children that we see in the show. King Aegon Targaryen, second of his name, seems to have a naked woman lying front and center of his emblem. It was widely known that the promiscuous Aegon had fathered several bastards. Even at a young age, he was known to pinch or fondle any servant girl who strayed within his reach. We also notice a golden laurel crown on top of what seems to be a dragon egg, meaning that King Aegon's emblem is a naked woman lying down on a crowned dragon egg. On his left, we notice Queen Helena's emblem being a spider. This seems to represent her obsession for arachnids, or just insects in general. We now see an emblem that is only recognizable after watching episode 10. Aemon Targaryen and his emblem, the sapphire that he puts in place of his missing eye. Last but not least, we can now have a look at the emblem of the missing child, Daemon Targaryen. The opening credit quickly passes over him, but on a closer look, we can see that his emblem seems to be a bell. The shape is too thin to be a drinking cup, plus it's also lacking a base. Moreover, why would a drinking cup be the emblem of a very young child? I have a theory as to why I think Daemon Targaryen's emblem is a bell. The Battle of the Bells is a famous battle among the book readers of A Song of Ice and Fire. It was fought during Robert's rebellion between royalist and rebel forces. It is so named because at the beginning of the battle, the town Seth tolled its bells to warn the citizens of the battle and to persuade them to stay inside their houses. Keeping this in mind, I ask, where is Daemon Targaryen? Well, it has been confirmed by Ryan Condal on the official Game of Thrones podcast on their official channel that Daemon Targaryen does indeed live and that he is currently staying in Old Town. Now, the town Seth tolled its bells to warn the citizens of the battle to come and to persuade them to stay inside their house. And Daemon has stayed inside the safety of the household seat of House Hightower. We now have enough material to start creating our third opening credit family tree, which covers episodes 9 to 10. Aegon and Helena's bloodline then join together to reveal their 3 children. You may be surprised to hear that they have had 3 children together. That is because in the TV show we've only seen 2 of them. That is Jaehaerys and Rhaenyra, the twins being represented by 2 hands holding each other. The meaning of this comes from the Gemini constellation. The constellation of Gemini means the twins in Latin. It looks like 2 human-like figures holding hands, with its 2 brightest stars, Castor and Pollux, marking the positions of each of their heads. As for their 3rd child, Maelor, his emblem is not visible enough to be able to identify it. However, if anyone has any idea of what it could be, please let us know in the comments, ideally by using spoiler tags in case you're spoiling Fire and Blood. We can now continue building our third opening credit family tree by adding these 3 new children. The opening credit scene then makes a sudden jump to a completely different side of the Valyria model upon which this family tree is being built, to jump to our favorite uncle, Daemon Targaryen, with his emblem that we could see much better in the second opening credit scene. We then notice Daemon Targaryen's blood going down a hole towards a lower level, and Rhaenyra Targaryen's emblem, the Valyrian steel necklace, far away in the background. Then Daemon Targaryen's blood is right above Rhaenyra. That is because he is from the older generation, and remember, the higher the level, the older the generation. He then goes down yet another hole, and Rhaenyra and Daemon's bloodline join together and then goes down a level. These are of course Daemon and Rhaenyra's 2 sons that we saw them introduced to Viserys before he died. The first emblem on the left is Aegon the Younger, the older of the 2 sons. Aegon the Younger's emblem is Dragonstone, which we saw earlier in the video also representing Jaehaerys Velaryon, except this one doesn't have a Velaryon sigil, since Aegon the Younger is a full-fledged Trueborn Targaryen. On his right is his younger brother Viserys Targaryen, whose emblem is also represented by Dragonstone. Except his emblem also has a dragon egg in the middle, which is probably the egg that Daemon found in the dragon mount of Dragonstone at the beginning of episode 8. Moreover, Viserys Targaryen is famous for having had a dragon egg that never ended up hatching, so his emblem being Dragonstone with the dragon egg still inside it makes sense. And there it is, the red curtain of blood closes on us one last time. And there is our completed family tree for the third and final opening credit scene for House of the Dragon. I would like to thank everyone for watching this video. I want to also thank Ryan Condal and the showrunners of this incredible TV show taking us on this beautiful journey. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I have many videos already underway with the same level of care put into them, especially one all about dragons. I am Aegon the Informer, and you have been informed.